Hi all, welcome to the workshop. We now have issues 86 and 87 of Eaglemoss's Build the Delorean. The first part of this video has already been filmed. I've just been waiting on some missing issues that we've now got caught up on, and I'm now at the stage where I can finish this one off. So let's go back in time and see how we got this far. So we have issue 86 and 87. I've actually don't have the video for issue 86, mainly because it's been about 4 months that I last worked on this one, and I seem to have lost the video that I'd done. However, the issue 86 was quite a basic process. We had a silver box we needed to add in. We had the emergency handle that we also had to add in, and we added the interior light, and we ended up with something that looked like that. Now the video you'll see in a moment, as I said, was recorded about 4 months ago to make the start of issue 87, and I've basically built up all of these parts, and I had to stop at this point here because the next part was to be installing parts into the main body of the car. However, I was missing a door at the time, so there wasn't any of this that I could do, but we will now be focusing on this section and finishing off the video in the second part of this video. So I'll just show you what I've got so far, which is this. So as I mentioned, issue 86 was adding in this emergency handle. We also added in this silver box, and we added in this light here. So I'll let you watch the rest of this build up, and then we'll come back to adding it into the car. Here we are, issue 87. We're going to be adding more to the roof lining. So these are the parts we get. We get 2 hinges. We have a couple of hinge pins, and it looks like a wire bracket. We get the 2 sun visors. We get the overhead controls and a keypad. We get 2 lots of lights. And we get an assortment of screws. GP, NM, BP, BM, and IP. Put all those to one side. So this is from issue 86. We're going to bring that one back over, and we're going to be adding all of that onto here, starting with the larger control. So we're just going to be adding that using its locating pins just to slot it in to the top there. We'll be using 2 GP screws to connect that. Just holding it in place. the screws. That's one control panel in. I'll now be taking the other two control panels. Just checking they are identical. And we're just going to be adding them just next to the one we just put in. Again, there's a locating pin and a screw hole to line up. I'll pop those over, and two more GP screws will hold those in place. And that's now looking like that. Next, we're going to get our control panel. We're going to be putting it with its locating pin in the hole. We're going to be securing it through this hole with a BP screw. Try and make sure it's straight. Moving on to the sun visors, and we're just going to be popping it up through the hole, getting one of our hinge pins, so I'm going to use the end of the screwdriver to hold it, and then we're going to put it through the slot, and we're going to be holding that in place with one of our little hinge clips. Now the instructions do say they are marked, but they are not, and as far as I can see they are identical. So we're just going to pop that over the two screw holes. I'm going to use two IP screws to hold it in place. We can do exactly the same on the left hand side. Next we're going to be turning over and using the LEDs on the green and black wire, and we're going to be positioning them into some of these holes, this one and this one here. So we're just going to push in . I've noticed the heat shrink is not quite in the right place on this, so to avoid any shorts I'm just going to put a little bit of black tape, black electrical tape, over the connector. Now we're going to put these in place. They're supplied with some black stickers, so I'm just going to use a couple of those to stick over the top of these bulbs. Okay, just ensuring they're fully pressed home. All it says to do is stick these black stickers over the tops of the bulbs. And now I'm going to get our cable clip. I'm going to feed both of these cables out of the back here. And get our little cable tab. Over the top. I'm going to be using an IP screw to secure that in place. Now, the next stage after feeding those wires through would be to bring the body over and install the lights for the flux bands, and then install the headlining into the car itself. Now, due to shortage of issues, I'm not going to be able to do that because I'm still missing a door. Which I've got the interior of the door, but I'm still waiting for the exterior of the door. And without the door, I'm not going to be able to put the headlining in because it will cover up the screws that would be required to install the hinges for the door. So one of the first things it wants us to do is to pass this wire through the two holes in the upper part of the body. I'll just bring the body over, and it's going to be these two holes here. So flip it over, and what we need to do is we need to just pop these two LEDs through the holes here. So that they poke through like that, and then we're going to be securing them in place with the two bits of tape that they give us, and they're just going to lay on top like that. However, I am not going to be doing that because I'm going to be using EL wire. So this is redundant for my purpose. So we can assume that's been done. So I'll just show you the instructions for that one. So pop the lights through, put the tape on them, and then the next stage, which we're going to be doing now, is make sure all the cables go towards the back, and we're going to be adding in the interior. So we're going to make sure all those cables are out of the way, including the ones that come from this one. Easier to take your rear view mirror out. So we've now got that pushed down into there, and we're going to be securing that with some BM screws at the front. And the rest of these holes are going to be filled with NM screws. I'm just tipping them into a little bit of oil just to ensure a nice smooth thread cutting when we put them in. And that's finally, after about 4 months, issue 87 complete. Thank you very much for visiting me in the workshop today. If you enjoyed that video, please remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more of how the Delorean progresses or anything else that goes on in the workshop, please remember to hit that subscribe button and ding that bell. I'll see you around.